Video game developer BioWare, known for their games Mass Effect and Dragon Age, which is also owned by Electronic Arts, decided to insult billions of Christians by declaring Easter the Trans Day of Visibility. Before we get into this, I'd like to ask you, please hit that subscribe button, hit that bell for notifications so you don't miss any of our future videos here at the Trent Report. Roll this up over at thatparkplace.com, and you can see the post here on X. BioWare posted this. Today is hashtag Transgender Day of Visibility. Trans people have always been a part of our world. We're proud to support them both within our games and in real life. They then shared a image of a character from Dragon Age Inquisition named Clem. We'll get to that a little bit later. Obviously, an absolutely disgusting post posting this on Easter. It is a post that does indeed reject God's kingship, his lordship over the world. And because it denies that God created men and female as distinctly different, it believes that human beings can change their gender or their sex at will and that they are their own gods. It is an attack on God, an attack on Christianity. That is what this is. It is vile, it is repugnant, it is disgusting, and ultimately, it is evil. Remember, Cat Williams told Joe Rogan, and I think he's absolutely right on this, that this whole transgender movement is at the behest of the demon Baphomet. But this is not out of the ordinary for BioWare. They've been posting stuff like this going back as far as June 2022. You can see here they posted this June 1st. Obviously, the whole disgusting month that they now call Pride Month, one of the 7 deadly sins. They like to celebrate that. Just kind of shows you where they are. But it says BioWare supports trans rights, women's rights, and bodily autonomy, diversity, equity, and inclusion are a cornerstone for our studio and games. We don't consider these human rights up for debate. And then it looks like that was sent by the company's general manager, Gary McKay. In a follow-up post, the company wrote this: our support is unwavering for our people. We are committed to expanding our benefits for U.S. employees and their eligible dependents. Our aim is to provide care, support, and services for the health and well-being of our people. So it looks like the company is actually funding some of this stuff. Absolutely sick and disgusting that they are participating in bodily mutilation. Just truly, truly evil stuff here from this company. In December 2022, they also noted that they were financially supporting this ideology as well. It says BioWare is thrilled to announce that we have donated a trans empowerment project this year's Dragon Age Day charity. We are proud to be part of a community that is devoted to helping everyone thrive and live their best lives. That is 100% lie. You are not living your best life when you are rejecting God and His creation. You are you are probably living in misery. It's definitely not your best life. Sick stuff. These people are trying to lie to people and convince them to butcher themselves. Truly evil stuff here. In June 2023, they also posted this: today and every day we celebrate and cherish our LGBTQIA plus. I feel like that acronym gets longer and longer every single day almost. They're adding new things. I have no idea what half of them even mean anyways. Fans, friends, family members, and coworkers in support of Pride Month, our employees in our studio have made donations to Trans Lifeline and Rainbow Railroad. So they're again promoting financially this evil ideology. And then back in 2014, I said I was going to get back to that character Krem. Here it is. The company's senior writer, Patrick Weeks, detailed that that character is a transgender character for Dragon Age Inquisition, and it is the Iron Bull's Lieutenant Cremisius Krem Aklasi, I think. He explained this a couple years ago. BioWare did a BioWare-based panel on LGBTQ representation in our games. At PAX, we heard concerns, praise, and a lot of heartfelt discussion about how we present characters from the LGBTQ community. One of the most repeated requests was for representation of transgender and or genderqueer characters in a way that did not make them either a monster or a joke. When the panel was over, some of us kicked around ideas about what we could do. He then said, as we discussed ideas, the possibility came up of Iron Bull's lieutenant being such a character. Bull needed a lieutenant. He's a mercenary commander, and even if we didn't have the the memory budget to have his entire company around all the time. I needed to be able to remind players that Bull has a history of command. In addition, Bull's loyalty is pulled between life under the Coon and a life of freedom, and I needed a character on each side who could represent that pull. He then said, Cremicious Creme Aclassi met both challenges. His conversation could come up naturally along with discussions of life as a mercenary, and he could serve a vital role in the story as a grounding force who would remind the player that Bull is more than just hired muscle. Krem's status as a trans man, rather than being just tacked on, could emphasize Bull's character by opening up discussions of Kunari gender roles. So clearly, they've been pushing this transgender ideology since at least 2014, probably before that, given the fact that the game didn't come out till 2014 and they obviously were developing it beforehand. And just to be clear why this ideology is so evil and extremely dangerous and can lead to catastrophic results, Archbishop Sample wrote this in his A Catholic Response to Gender Identity Theory. He said, to some, supporting aspects of social transition may seem benign, even humane, such as using someone's preferred pronouns and actively affirming his or her perceived gender. However, while well-intentioned, this kind of endorsement may help shepherd a young person on a path of unnecessary medicalization. Social transition is often the first step towards hormones and surgery. A 2020 survey of transgender and non-binary youth found that 64% of respondents were either already receiving cross-sex hormones or desire to do so. Danish researchers who first used puberty blockers on gender dysphoric children found that social transition increased the likelihood that dysphoria would persist and result in medicalization. Social transition can also include practices such as breast binding and genital tucking, both of which have been shown to have adverse effects on physical health, like testicular torsion and reduced fertility in males, and abnormal lung function and back pain in females. Moreover, a 2020 study on the effects of social transition found that family and peer relations, not social transition status, predicted psychological functioning. So you can see there are numerous ways that this stuff damages someone. Obviously, this is just on a personal level, doesn't also talk about the emotional level, the relationship level, how it affects people's relationships with their parents, with their families, with their friends. Obviously, massive amounts of damage comes from embracing this ideology because at the end of the day, this ideology is about death and destruction. It is sick and evil. We also have this from Bishop Michael Burbidge of the Diocese of Arlington. And he notes that this ideology must be rejected in his catechesis on the human person and gender ideology. He writes this: the claim to be transgender or the desire to seek transition rests on a mistaken view of the human person, rejects the body as a gift from God, and leads to grave harm. To affirm someone in an identity at odds with biological sex or to affirm a person's desired transition is to mislead that person. It involves speaking and interacting with that person in an untruthful manner. Although the law of gradualness might prompt us to discern the best time to communicate the fullness of the truth, in no circumstances can we confirm a person in error. So obviously, we cannot confirm this ideology either. So very evil stuff here, and BioWare is indeed promoting it. They are trying to actively destroy people, convince people that this stuff is normal when it is not, and lead people on the paths to destruction. And if you work at BioWare and you're still promoting this stuff, I suggest you leave that company. It is not worth promoting this stuff. Your soul is worth more than pushing this evil ideology or your job. People will be there to look out for you. God will be there to support you. He supports people that make these good decisions, that support him. And remember, this life is not the end all be all. We just celebrated Easter Sunday, and that is Christ defeating death. He rose from the dead. He opens the gates to heaven. That is the promise that we have, a fulfillment of happiness and glory with him in heaven. So those are my final thoughts on this. Let me know what you guys make of what BioWare has done on Easter Sunday. Let me know in the comments below. Remember to always be charitable, but to always speak the truth.